Russian troops seized control of a Ukrainian military base near Kherson, the Russian Defense Ministry told reporters. Russian servicemen took control of a Ukrainian armed forces military base near the village of Radinsk in the Kherson region. The Ukrainian military left their positions in a hurry, leaving the base with equipment, weapons and ammunition. The Defense Ministry released footage of the base. The trophies found at the base include Ukrainian T-64 and T-80 tanks, armored personnel carriers, infantry fighting vehicles, Ural vehicles, an ammunition depot, including mines, anti-tank missiles, mortar and tank shells. According to the ministry, more than 4,500 tons of ammunition, rocket shells for multiple launch rocket systems. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett met Russian President Vladimir Putin in the Kremlin on Saturday to discuss the war in Ukraine and later spoke by phone with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Bennett is coordinating his efforts in the crisis with the United States, France and Germany. After his meeting with Putin, Bennett headed to Berlin for talks with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. More than 10,500 tons of humanitarian aid has been prepared for Ukraine and the first convoys are already waiting to hit the road, Colonel General Mikhail Mizintsev, head of the Russian National Center for Defense Management, said at a news conference. Convoys with humanitarian cargoes have been formed to provide assistance to the population of Ukraine. The federal government together with the Russian regions have already prepared more than 10,500 tons of humanitarian cargo. A humanitarian aid convoy from Crimea has already reached population centers in southern Ukraine, Mizintsev said. The other regions that are assembling humanitarian convoys include the Belgorod, Bryansk, Voronezh, Kursk and Rostov regions. As Saturday's ceasefire between Russian and Ukraine forces fails in Mariupol and Volnovakha, the Russian armed forces resumed their offensive against nationalist forces. According to Russian Defense Ministry, 200,000 refugees from Mariupol and 15,000 from Volnovakha could not reach the humanitarian corridors. In a strategic signal to China, the army on Friday conducted a major airborne insertion and rapid response exercise in the Siliguri corridor, even as army chief separately reviewed the wargame of a strike corps reoriented to the northern borders. The army remains focused on the challenges along the line of actual control amidst the continuing 21-month-long military confrontation in eastern Ladakh. The Ukraine situation has to be seen in the context of similar attempts that could be made by the PLA along the contested northern borders. At no stage the army can afford to lose focus on the northern borders, and has been working to mitigate the threat to the strategically vulnerable Siliguri corridor, the narrow strip of land that connects the northeast with the rest of India. Army Chief General Naravane on Friday reviewed the operational readiness of a Mathura-based strike formation that was reassigned to the northern borders with China amid the standoff along the line of actual control in Ladakh, even as the army carried out airborne drills in the Siliguri corridor to showcase its aerial insertion and rapid response capabilities along the eastern frontier. While the world is distracted by the Russia-Ukraine crisis, the army is focused on the challenges along the northern borders with China. The Ukraine situation has to be seen in the context of similar attempts that could be made by the Chinese People's Liberation Army along the contested northern borders. The current situation warrants that the army realign the operational tasking of its reserve formations to focus on the northern borders and refine its war-fighting capabilities in mountainous terrain. Various situations and responses of the formation were war-gamed at one corps headquarters in Mathura, and suitable lessons were also drawn from various modern-day conflicts. Reports have emerged that the Chinese jet, the J-10Cs, have landed at PAF base Kamra. The acquisition of the J-10C is crucial for both Pakistan and China. This is the first time the Chinese-built J-10Cs have been exported to any country. The move would promote Chinese aviation equipment, increase mutual cooperation between the two countries, and boost the combat capability of the Pakistan Air Force. The talk for the acquisition began in 2015 when Pakistan realized that the upgradation of F-16 was not a feasible option. Moreover, the next-generation aircraft under Project Azam would not make their maiden flight till the end of this decade. Thus, the PAF made the decision of inducting the Chinese jets. Pakistan acquired the J-10C as a response to the Indian acquisition of French Rafale. A Coast Guard Donier 228 aircraft traveling from Chennai to Kanpur suffered an engine snag as it rammed into a structure in the airport after landing. The left engine of the aircraft had stopped functioning post-landing. As the pilots landed the plane on the runway, it steered to the right and rammed into a structure. No casualties were reported in the incident. There was a technical malfunction in the left engine at the time of landing of the aircraft. Because of this, the aircraft did not stop after landing and went off the runway. While the Coast Guard yet to make an official announcement on this incident, the footage showed minor damage to the plane.